for now. Out of options, Arvind Kejriwal takes the fight to the Lieutenant Governor's door, says Najib Jung appears to be batting for the BJP, promises more exposés against the party. Supreme Court defers decision on government's plea to cancel illegal coal block allocations amidst protests by companies and state governments. Kolkata top cop provokes angry reactions with his sexist guidelines on how to avoid eve teasing, says wear decent clothes to women and avoid late nights. As promised, our coverage on Jammu and Kashmir will continue all day today with our reporters spanned across the state, bringing you news on every development as and when it happens. And Headlines Today brings you exclusive visuals of the Indian Air Force's Srinagar rescue and relief operations in the night. And roving editor Mahrukh Inayat now joins me on the phone line from Srinagar. Mahrukh, we're really fortunate to get through to you finally. Tell us more about the situation on the ground.
Well, Vedika, I just landed in Srinagar at about 2, and as soon as we got out of the Srinagar airport, right at the gate, which is the first security check, there were at least close to 1,000 to 2,000 migrant workers who had been evacuated and rescued from various parts of the valley and who had been all collected there. And all of them, we spoke to several of them. In fact, we've shot extensively with them, but because of the low connectivity, we're not being able to send those visuals across to you. All of them said that they have been waiting for government to help. They spoke about the army and how the army was helping them. But as far as government machinery was concerned, many of them extremely upset. They said that they were hungry for close to 2 days. No food or any kind of food supply had been provided to them, not even the water. We moved down about 15 minutes from there to an open langar, an open kitchen which had been set up by the locals. And they were providing food to anybody and whoever had been, stranded or trapped and had been rescued. That was very heart-wrenching. And all along the way, a distance from the airport to Baghat, which is the first locality in Srinagar, which is usually a distance of about 5 minutes, took us close to 45 minutes. Because most of the areas are inundated, and all along the way, Vedika, there were hundreds of these migrant workers walking with their basic, whatever they had been able to collect, a bag or two, or perhaps a bag of grain, and walk towards the airport, because all of them have been told to move towards the airport. There was not a single person from the government machinery or the police. Without going into criticism, we are being told that most of them have been employed to rescue people right now, which is perhaps the reason why they weren't seen on the roads. But what we saw other than that was the fact that there were lots of tractors on the roads, buses and trucks full of locals. Now these are people who had relief written on their trucks, and they're locals who are trying to help rescue others. There are army boats, just like you can see that Shuja showed in his report. Apart from that, the local shikaras, which are the local boats, are being employed by locals to get into the submerged areas of Tulsi Bagh, Jawahar Nagar, Raj Bagh, Indira Nagar, Shivpura. These are the areas which are really badly hit. So these shikaras are being taken there by the locals to rescue as many. But what is now really becoming extremely worrying? Number one, there are not enough food supplies in the valley. Most of the shops are shut. Whatever little was there in terms of vegetables or, milk, sugar, eggs, basic amenities are not available. Secondly, communication is absolutely, like you said, it's very difficult to get through. I'm actually speaking to you from a landline, which is perhaps the only one working in the area. There's no internet connectivity. And now, with the waters receding, what we saw all along the way was tremendous amount of dirt and muck in the water. There are cars floating. There is immense amount of debris and sewage from the homes that is floating on this water. So the biggest threat now of waterborne diseases and epidemic is looming large.
Also, Mahrukh, is the weather holding up?
The weather is holding up, and from what we've heard, it was cloudy when we landed, but it hasn't rained, and we are being told that for the next 2 to 3 days, there are no visible signs of any rainfall. So that's reassuring, especially for the rescue operations. And because of water levels having receded by 3 to 4 feet in most areas, rescue operations have been far more active today, especially with the choppers. People are being airlifted from South Kashmir, which was completely cut off. And also in the areas that I mentioned in Srinagar city, people are being evacuated both through choppers as well as through these boats that have been employed by the army and the locals.
All right, Mahrukh Inayat, thank you so much for joining us live. Keep safe. We'll keep coming back to you for more. Well, the medical infrastructure in Srinagar is struggling to cope with the massive influx of flood-affected areas, running short on medicines, fuel, and with no power, the patients are the worst affected. Shujaul Haq sends us another exclusive ground report.
These desperate times when Valley is witnessing one of the unprecedented situations, one of the most important sectors is healthcare. Hospitals are flooded with people, and a lot of hospitals, there is a lot of shortage of not only of manpower but also of essentials. This is one of the hospitals in the city where a lot of people have, I'm told, are coming right since morning. They were coming, and doctors managing very in harsh conditions, managing all the mechanism here, trying to provide healthcare somehow to people who are in desperate need at this point of time. Let's just try and speak to this group of doctors who are in the hospital here in Ranawari. One by one, I'll try and speak to them and find out what really is the ground situation as far as the healthcare is concerned. Sir, what is your name, sir?
My name is Dr. Harun. I'm an ophthalmologist here.
Okay.
And right now there's not much of ophthalmology job, but it is sort of a rescue work, and many other patients who are coming here to see that those people are getting the treatment.
Okay. How is it, Doctor? What is your name?
My name is Dr. Taha. I am the
What is the ground situation? What are the problems that you're facing there?
Well, the biggest problem this time is that our hospital is running out of fuel. We have tried to contact everybody out there. We don't have fuel. We have to run the electricity, the generator, fuel for generator, and fuel for ambulances as well. Till this time, we have made, somehow it has been, we have managed. But maybe in another 12 hours or so, we're going to be, will not be having any fuel, and the hospital will all virtually shut down.
Medicines and essential, items.
Yes, medicines, essential, whatever we have in store, we are trying for that. One is that we are trying to exhaust that, but once that will get exhausted, the hospital will be near to this closure. Another important thing, we have announced in local mosques, given announcements for people to donate some medicines wherever they have. Some medical representatives have come with medicine, they have donated, but that's not going to last long. For fuel also we have requested. There's a counter outside. Some fuel has come, but fuel is a priority. Through your channel, I want to convey to our authorities, whosoever it is, whether it's an army, it's a government, somehow send some fuel over here, because this is the only functional hospital from this side, catering to this side of the population. People all over from all along from flood areas, wherever they are coming over here only.
The situation here on the ground in healthcare institutions. People desperately want help. People who are in this profession are calling for somebody to come here with fuel, with medicines. They're trying their level best. They're coming here in difficult times, leaving their families behind. But at this moment, even they are feeling helpless. If fuel and medicine runs out, it'll be impossible for them to conduct this kind of work here. With cameraman Roof, Shujaul Haq in Srinagar for Headlines Today.
So clearly the dire need of the hour is fuel as well as medicines, along with basic amenities like food and shelter. We have Jugal now joining us on the phone line from Srinagar. Jugal, it seems that some of the communication lines are up because we've been able to get through to you as well as Mahrukh. A lot of relatives sitting across India trying to get through to their loved ones.
Vedika, it's an extremely difficult situation for the people who remain in Srinagar for a variety of reasons, starting from electricity, fuel supply, energy supply, phone lines, communication, access, travel, on all these counts. We've been in Srinagar for almost 48 hours. Today we visited some of the most hardest hit areas of Rajbagh and Jawahar Nagar. And what is surprisingly striking to us all is that despite there being clear sunshine for 2 days, there is just the water is just not receding, and if that continues to remain so, apart from it posing a short-term threat in terms of the life and the material cost, it will also weaken a lot of buildings. Today we were there on board an Indian Army assault boat which was rescuing people, and absolutely heart-rending scenes out there. People standing on their top floors, screaming for help, women, children, old people sitting on electricity poles as if they're sitting on a chair. The water is almost 25 feet high. So it's a difficult situation. It's taking a lot of time. And the biggest worry right now, apart from everything else in terms of availability of resources, helicopters, army men, everything, the biggest worry right now is that the water is simply not receding. And the administration, I spoke to some of the top police officials, they also conceded that we will have to be ready for a surprise which may be in store. And when I asked in what sense, they said in the sense of the casualty count, which right now is up to 170 or 180, but they told us to be ready for a surprise. So
Well,
that's
that
the
is
kind of
worrying
situation
news,
which
Jugal.
is there on the ground.
Yes, that is worrying news. Do stay with me. I also have Ashwini joining me live from Jammu. Ashwini, are the scenes in Jammu as grim as that of Srinagar?
No, there is a rescue operation has been already completed. No relief has started. But I will add more things that Northern Command Army has pumped more columns to rescue operation in Kashmir Valley, and around 1 lakh army soldier has been pushed into service, and more boats has been rushed to the Kashmir Valley to rescue the people from the maroon area, and from Punjab, Rajasthan and other states. The army has been told to get more boats so that the people can be rescued in the Kashmir Valley. But in Jammu part of area, the rescue operation has been completed. No relief has started, and even the Poonch area, there are some damages were there, but the army has taken the care, and the state government is very active in Jammu area. But most of the feature, the sensitivity of the Kashmir Valley is more, and the more forces has been rushed into service, and the army has launched Operation Rescue, so that the more and around 30,000 people, just now we got the information from the Army Northern Command that 30,000 people have been rescued,
Yes.
and the whole night the operation will continue. Yeah.
All right, Ashwini and Jugal, thank you so much for joining us, bringing us the details from Srinagar as well as Jammu.